Welcome back to the channel. Natsu here once again, and we're gonna talk about Street Fighter 6. Now, this is gonna be my tier list since Season 2 is coming next week, right? I decided to make a tier list finally. Some people have been asking me for this for a while, so I say, why not? Let's do it, right? Now, another thing I want to mention is that if you're interested in certain characters, there will be a time skip option. You know, you can go to the descriptions or the first post that's gonna be the pinned one, right? You can click on the character that you're interested to hear my opinion, right, and go from there. Or if you want to hear the whole video, which will be awesome, I will gladly appreciate that also. Also, please like and subscribe, it helps a lot the channel. Now, having said that, another thing I want to mention is that even though I'm like my main character in Street Fighter 6 is Rashid, right, I have played with other characters like Ed, Jamie, Marisa, even Lily, JP, Blanka, DeeJay, etc, etc. So this will be like a objective tier list because I've been noticing some people doing a tier list and their tier list is more based like a matchup chart knowledge, right? Like, for example, let's say, hypothetical, it's not the real case, let's say that Guile is a bad matchup for Rashid. I will put Rashid as top tier, and that is not true, right? So this will be like a normal tier list, okay? So having said that, please like and subscribe once again, and let's start this video. So the first character we're gonna talk about is Zangief. Now, to me, Zangief is one of the lowest characters, and the reason is because even though he has big damage with his grabs, right? The game mechanics of the game does not help Zangief at all. What I mean by that is that unlike other characters that can use Drive Rush to their maximum potential, Zangief has issue with that mechanic altogether, right? And also, like a parry, even though it's a good option, like even he can parry stuff. Like JP versus Zangief is a horrible matchup, but technically, most of the characters can mess up Zangief, especially in the corner. Keep in mind that Zangief doesn't have like a good reversal option, so even though he's a grappler, he can get throw loop in the corner and that's it. And again, you can say that is the case for most of the characters in this game, but it's kind of funny that technically other characters that aren't grapplers does a better option in grabbing you than Zangief because throw loops are OD, right? So if you worse, Zangief doesn't win a lot because he's not a good character because the game mechanics do not favor him. Now, followed by that, I will say Lily. Now, I will say Lily is a little bit better, but I think are in the same tier, and they have the same issues. Even though Lily has better pokes, right? But the problem is that her win mechanic, like storage, I don't think is set up correctly. The same way with Jamie and Manon. Even though Manon can, hold that power up, right, through different rounds. In the case of Lily, she needs to start that off again. So it's either you sacrifice Oki or you sacrifice the power up, right? And right now I haven't seen any reason like to play with her. Like, to be honest, it's better to play with Zangief, even though I think Zangief is a little bit worse. But in some matchups or general, I will say Zangief is a way better character. But Lily suffers from that, and also like her counter dive, not being able to do that when she jumps back, affects her gameplay compared to T-Hawk, where T-Hawk had that option, right? So yeah, she has a lot of problems. What I'm trying to say in few words is that she has good pokes, but the same thing, the drive rush, mechanics do not help her whatsoever, and like she uses too much drive in order to be viable because for example, you want to do like a big damage with her, you will do counter spire and then counter dive, Choryuken, DP counter dive. I mean, not the counter dive, the Choryuken is a counter, right? And then the counter dive EX afterwards, and that's like almost like 4 bars or 3 bars if I remember correctly. So yeah. Now, the other character I will say that is not the best, and here is where I will say we start with C, is Jamie. Now, Jamie got some buff in the pseudo buff nerf thing that they did after Capcom Cup, but I think Jamie has some issues, and the issues are, again, he, unlike Lily and Zangief, he does have good normals that he can use as dry rush, but he suffers a lot against characters that like to zone out, or characters that have solid defense, right? So I think, like for example, a lot of people have been saying, me included, right? I think Jamie should have the option of having his drinks after, if he drinks 4 drinks, for example, in 1 round, that drinks will be going to the next round, right? A lot of people say, hey, you cannot do that because it will be overpowered. In that case, what I will say is that if you see Vidra Fighter, Chun-Li, the Kung Fu master, Chun-Li is a drunken master, right? Drunken fool. So technically, he has the same mechanics as Jamie, but he can use those drinks in the next rounds, right? But if you hit Chun-Li with certain special moves, those drinks will get removed. So I think that will be the way to go for Jamie. Unfortunately, I don't know if that's the way they're gonna go about it. But I hope in the future, if they don't want to go that route, at least give him a move. For example, the EX quadruple back, which is the elbow, the EX version, to be able to pass through fireballs. That will help him a lot when fighting against characters like Guile, JP, etc. Right? Now, the next character we're gonna talk about here, right, will be Onda. Now, Onda is a weird character because at the beginning everybody was saying that he was super good, super strong, and he is, but once you start learning the game mechanics of the game, you start noticing the flaws, right? So for example, technically, if you know how to parry, you will be able to stop on his track, right? I see ways that they could go about it, but for what I'm seeing right now, I don't think Capcom's gonna go about it. They want to buff his stance, right? So not sure if that's gonna be about it, the best option. To be honest, I think Onda needs better range or more normals that will be able to cancel correctly from dry rush. So again, I think it's like it's on the same boat as Jamie. That it is that they can use the dry mechanics to a certain degree, right? But they don't excel because once you know how to stop them on their tracks using parry or game mechanics, they suffer when trying to have footsies, right? Because this is not like Third Strike. In Third Strike, you can jump and parry. Over here, you need to walk back and forth, and sometimes that is not the best, and sometimes jumping is not the best. So they're gimp, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Now let's talk about top tier because we have been talking about low tiers too long. Look, what can I say? Damage, excellent fireball, excellent control spacing. Like this character can do everything, right? Good Oki, good pressure, excellent damage once again, right? And to be honest, once you understand how he combos and how he works, it's a good option. Even though they nerfed crushing medium punch, right? That wasn't the only issue with him, but it was something in the correct way to go about. So in few words, look, big powerhouse, big damage. Like to be honest, if they don't change Street Fighter 6 big time, I was thinking about changing Luke because I was getting tired of trying to play other characters when their normals aren't as good as Luke, right? And as dominant. So yeah, so Luke is S tier, no question about it, right? Now the other character I will say is top tier. I will say JP. Now, people have been saying JP has been nerfed, and yes, he has been nerfed, but the thing with the character is the things that he can do, right? Even though his anti-air has been nerfed, and the range of standing hard punch has been nerfed, he is still like an obstacle course, right? Like, if you try to get into a good JP, it's gonna be hard, and he plays like a different character. I always say JP jokingly, but being serious at the same time. JP is like a Mortal Kombat character, but in Street Fighter 6 and Street Fighter game. Like for example, if you have played Mortal Kombat, you have characters like Shanshu, Liu Kang, Chiba, Shao Kahn. Actually, Shao Kahn no, Ermac, for example, right? That has traps, have different normals. Special moves that control spacing, right? Be it by explosions in the middle, on the far, on the front, etc. In the case of JP, is like he also can pressure you up close, right? And also has like a command grab, and he can fake and the fireballs and also the command grab. So interesting character that has a lot of mechanics that other characters in the game do not have. So that's one of the reasons why JP is top tier, is just because damage output and also spacing is so powerful. Even if you parry stuff from JP full screen, it's still technically his turn, right? Depending on the matchup, but yeah. The other character I want to talk about is Juri. Now Juri is a combination of good normals, uh, you know, and not only good normals. Like her dry rush is really a big issue. Like she technically does one dry rush almost full screen and she's in front of you, right? And like, even though I won't say she is like easier than Luke, they technically does the same thing. The difference is that Yuri doesn't do that much damage as Luke, right? So you need to be a little bit more technical. Cody fingers, right? The other one I want to talk about, and actually I think should be behind JP, is DeeJay. Now DeeJay damage output is insane. Like I was amazed how much damage this character did, right? Like one mistake and boom, you're dead. To be honest, it's technically like Luke, but the difference that in the case of DeeJay needs to charge some special moves, and that's why he's harder in certain degrees, in certain regards, than other characters. But yeah, he's like a menace. Uh, like and a lot of his stuff is safe. To be honest, but I think the only thing you can punish is like his flash kick, right? And sometimes it depends, right? Uh, because I think the like the one that's a fake, yes, you can punish it, but sometimes it will trade depending on the character, because of the anti-airs in general in this game suck, which I hope they change that. But yeah, DeeJay is a menace who's used because of the damage he does, right? Now let's go with the other character, Dhalsim. Now Dhalsim is kind of weird because I've been seeing people cooking with Dhalsim, but there's some little there aren't that many Dhalsim players, but the ones that are super good. Like they they're super good, but I've seen them struggle because of the game mechanics, uh, and technically what they're doing, right? Like spacing and stuff like that. JP does it way better than Dhalsim altogether, right? Again, super technical character, but I think the hard work does not merit the the if you're playing without seeing, you like the character, right? There's no question about it, right? So I think they need to either buff his long range distance options, right, or something. But then again, you will make the Zangief matchup way harder. So it is a weird thing how they will go about this, right? Again, keep in mind, like I'm saying, if you like that style play, like keeping low, away, poking, etc., you can do that with AP way better and way easier, right? Because you need to do a lot of hard stuff technically with Dhalsim in order to be in top 8, right? The other character that we need to talk about is Manon. Now Manon is an interesting character. I don't think she's that bad, but if I take in consideration all the tournament results, right? The only player I think has done well with him, I may be mistaken, is Adam, right? And she struggles, especially with characters that are super, Sonic characters like AP, Guile, etc. And that's a big issue I see over here. Even though she can use her drive rush, it is below average at best. And keep in mind, when I say drive rush, I'm also talking about drive mechanic altogether, right? If she has the ball running, she's a menace. But again, like other characters does what she does way better than her altogether. It's interesting to see that grapplers in general in this game right now are super weak. Let's go here. let's talk about Aki, right? Now, Aki, I know some people are saying like she was low tier. I didn't think she was the best, right? Maybe she was bottom tier, but I think she's a character that is it has a lot of potential, but at the same time, the drive mechanics hold her back, right? Uh, Even though she got buffs, right? I've been noticing that there are gonna be more buffs for her in the future in Season Pass 2, for what I'm seeing in the trailers and teasers, right? I believe she will be a little bit better, right? Because technically she is so close to be a better character than all of these characters over here. But the way she, the things she does right now, like other characters does it better. Again, play JP or play Juri, right? If you like traps, etc., etc. Also, like her normals are the best, and the reason why I say are not the best is because she is a character that, even though she has range, like the drive rush, right? They cannot be drive rush, right? So that's what I mean. That's why I say that the game mechanics hold this character down. Like if the drive mechanic in general didn't function, didn't work as it is right now, I think Aki would be a better character. But right now she suffers because of the mechanics, right? Now the other character that I want to talk about here is Ed. Now Ed, I think he's a fun character. I did love playing with him, but he's too stiff. Like for example, crouching low punch is not special cancelable or dry rush cancelable and it's negative. Even though one of the teaser trailers they showed that is not anymore -5, which whatever, right? I think they should change that to special cancelable and other stuff, right? I think he suffers a lot. That Capcom was afraid that he was gonna be overpowered, so they nerfed some stuff like not giving him like an overhead and other stuff like that, right? Now let's talk about oh yeah, the last one of the S tier. Oh my goodness, I think Chun should be actually second. You know what? Okay, let's leave her like that. I think she might be second, to be honest. But Chun is a solid character. The reason why is that it's super hard to open her up. She can convert so good. She has good Oki. She has overhead. She can. You know what? Screw it. Let's put it in second place. She can mess up JP. Do her Hasanko, which is quadruple back kick. If I'm not mistaken, that's the move. The one she jumps for and do a kick, and that can snipe JP on reaction. I have seen this, and it's like it gives a lot of problems to JP. And if JP tries to run away, right, Chun-Li walking speed is super good, so she sticks like butter, like she sticks there, right? Let's go over here. Okay, so Ryu will be over here in the C, right? Even though he got a lot of buff, and he's a better solid character right now, like, and he's a lot of fun, right? I think he still has some issues, even though he has way better damage. But again, I don't see him beating the top tiers, right? Like in order to get here, it's better to use Ken than Ryu, and it's mostly because of the way things are in the game right now, right? Even though I think he does use the actually, you know what? Let me put it over here in the video. He does use the game mechanics well, but the problem is that even though he uses it well, having the option that he needs to buff his Zangief, right, to get that extra damage, extra buff, you have the same issue as Lily, Manon, actually Lily and Jamie, right? You need to, sacrifice Oki in order to get the buff, right? From what I'm seeing in the new Season Pass trailer too, it seems that Ryu will have options finally to not sacrifice Oki nor the buff, but to have both at the same time. But that's a speculation for what we're seeing right now, right? The other character I wanna talk about that should be an A, since we talk about Ryu, is Ken. Now Ken is Ken, right? Even though they have nerfed the character, this character excels in using the drive mechanics, better than any character in the game. Even though technically, Chun Li is a solid character. I think Ken abuses of the game mechanics altogether. Like he can use dry rush super well. He can use he has a lot of moves that will check you, right, and can be safe. And also the damage output he does is fairly good, and setups with the right impact, etc., etc. Again, it's a solid character. Like he has TPs, he has fireball. Like he can do fireball and then dry rush afterwards, right? And it's super annoying to deal with that, right? Now that we talk about Ken, let's talk about Guile. Now, Guile, even though the reason why Guile I think suffers a lot in this game is that it's the first game that I see that he struggles against other character in the zoning department, and that character will be JP, right? Like this time around, he has more options, but at the same time, other characters by using dry rush, right, can check him well and really quickly, right? Like sometimes the for example, one of the things that Guile players will do to to escape pressure or having more space is like doing back medium kick, and that will do like a kick and then like a hop backwards, right? That strategy doesn't work that well anymore because of dry rush, right? And once he's on the corner, like he suffers from throw loops, right? So that's something that didn't happen before. Before it was a more like a 50-50. Oh, you throw me in the corner, okay, so the situation has been reset. You can do a shimmy, but if I take the throw, it's not that big of a deal. But this time, taking the throw is a big deal, right? Has big damage, but you need to have execution to be able to do it, right? Let's talk about Marisa. Marisa is interesting because she is a character that breaks a lot of the mechanics of this game. For example, like Drag Impact. Like you can use her special moves to break the armor's move, so that helps her a lot. And she does a lot of damage. The only thing I think Marisa suffers is that you need to be on point with your punishment. And to be honest, I don't think that's a hard thing to do. It's just that I see a lot of people not trying to capitalize, and you need to have good drive meter management in order to be really good with her, right? Because once you know how to use your drive meter with Marisa, you will start seeing how you can win way easier and chunk a lot of damage, right? And like her normals might not be the best, but they're exceptionally good, especially when you're trying to play like footsie wars with some characters. Like I stop a lot of people's with like a standing hard punch, or doing a wave achieving with standing medium punch into her target combo, right? Now let's go here. Cammy is the character. Actually, you know what? Cammy should be here. Cammy is another great character, to be honest. And she, it's kind of funny because people try to undermine her. Oh, like she is a bad character, or some people say she's a great character, and some people say she's cheap. Like what I say about Cammy is that technically she has all the strengths of Chun Li. The only difference between both of them, because they have great walking speed, right? And again, Chun Li like a shark character, Cammy is not. Is that Chun Li has a lot of special moves that do not make her be super open. So to punish her is really hard. But Cammy has special moves that if they are blocked, right, or certain scenarios, people can punish her big time, right? Also, another thing is that not having having a fireball and only having the knuckle. I forgot the name of the knuckle move that she jumps for, right? Can be there's certain characters that can stop that, right? And also having the option of doing a perfect parry to that, stop that kind of pressure. That was one of the things that was really good for her. But again, she is a character that in the correct hands can be a nightmare, right? Now let's go here and talk about Blanka. Blanka, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna put Blanka over here. Blanka for me is top tier, S tier. Sorry. Like his ball in the air is super good. Like his setups with level 2 is really good. And people say, hey, his block, his guard, right? Yeah, it's not that easy, right? Because keep in mind that the you either had to be a madman to play with Blanka, but you also need to be a madman to block against Blanka. So this matchup technically becomes who has more cojones, who has the most balls, right? And it's kind of funny because vertical ball, upward ball. So yeah, Blanka, and that's the reason why may not use this character. Like, it is not easy to deal with him. Like, Blanka has good normals, has good pressure, has good setups, right? And he has, it's a character that he's, because of level 2 super, has a lot of things that can be done, at the moment, right? Or stuff that you have prepared in training mode, right? That maybe people haven't seen in the past. So technically, it's a character that lets you do like freestyle, right? Like, you think you know everything about Blanka, then no, here's a new level 2 setup. Deal with that, right? Kimberly is a character that I'm gonna put a B tier, but I think she could be A tier, right? Depending on the matchup. And it's a really good character. A lot of people say that she's bad because she doesn't have a reversal, but Kimberly has the potential to break characters really easily, especially in the corner with her setups. You have been in the receiving end of the throw loop situation and dealing with the canisters exploding and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, she is a real threat. The thing is that a lot of people do not play her, right? Also, like, her run options, unlike Guile and Seku for Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 4, are way better, right? Because she can, like, for example, like, trying to react to her slide, it comes out so fast, right? So it's hard to punish that altogether, right? Let me see. And then Akuma, of course, no idea because it hasn't come out. But then we have Rashid. Now, Rashid, I will say, is here, right? And Rashid, the only issue with Rashid is that his normals aren't the best. His normals aren't like Street Fighter 5. Like, he cannot poke you correctly. Before, it was way easier. Crouching medium punch is a horrible anti-air, right? So again, I think it's a good character if you like being technical and having fun, right? But in the end, why play with Rashid when you can do stuff with DeeJay or with Juri or even with Blanka, right? In few words, I like Rashid. He's a great character, but I think he still struggles a lot with the S tiers, right? Because, for example, when I play against Marisa, Cammy, and Ken, it can go 50-50. But when I start playing against any of these characters, it's like, you know what? Maybe Luke is not 50-50. I mean, Luke won't be that hard, just because depending on how they play. But when I play against Chun LI, JP, DeeJay, Juri, Blanka, it becomes way harder. Because even though he has options that you would think that will open up characters, there aren't that really that good. Like, for example, if I try to do a drive rush to overhead right, you can stop that with a jab, right? And if you're you can also grab the the overhead, because even though it's in the air, it's not in the air. Reason why I say this is because Zangief, Lady, Manon, even normal characters like Guile have thrown me when I do the overhead, and because it's still on the ground, right? So yeah, that will be my tier list for Street Fighter 6. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this? Are you thinking I'm mistaken or smoking crack or whatever? So anyway, as always, like and subscribe and see you next video. Bye bye.